Hey, my first graders. Today, I'm here to talk to you about adding opening and closing sentences to your writing. So, I know we haven't gotten to the point where you write your own how to, but that's coming up next. So, I want you to know how to add an opening and closing. So, an opening sentence is one that sets us off, it lets your reader know what to expect when they continue reading. We're doing a how to. So you want to introduce them to what you're going to be talking about. So I'm going to show you an easy way to add an opening sentence, which lets your reader know what you're about to tell them how to do, and a closing sentence. A closing sentence is a way to end your writing. Now, they're different from our first, next, then last, okay? We still use those, but this is going to be something that comes before you get into your first step for your opening, and your closing sentence goes after your last step. It's a way to just let everyone know that you're finished with your writing. So, we're going to take a look at old writings that I've modeled for you, and we're going to add some opening and closing sentences to them. All right, here we go. Let's take a look. Okay, my first graders. So this is one of the ones that we started with first. First, get your ingredients. Next, spread the jelly. Then spread the peanut butter. Last, put the bread together and eat it. Remember, this was about how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So we're going to add our opening sentence, and notice it goes up here before the word first, and our closing sentence, which goes down here after the word last. So let's think about what were we trying to talk about in this how to? What were we telling people how to do? How to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So, what my opening sentence could be is I know how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Period. Okay. When you're doing your opening sentences, one way that you can introduce your how to is just by telling them what you know how to make or how to do. That way the reader knows, hey, this is going to be about how to do this or how to do that. So you can use the words, I know how to. Do you see those words? I know how to. Highlight them. I know how to, and then tell your audience what it is that you know how to do. Maybe it's I know how to put on my jacket. Okay? And then you go into the steps. So it just lets them know, hey, this is what I'm going to be telling you about. Now, our closing is a way to end. And a lot of times that can go back and relate to your opening sentence. So at the end, after I say last, I put the bread together and eat it. I can say, that is how I make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Period. So in my opening sentence, I told them I know how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And my closing sentence, I said, that is how I make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Listen to it as it's all together. I know how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. First, you get your ingredients. Next, spread the jelly. Then spread the peanut butter. Last, put the bread together and eat it. That is how I make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So you just gave them an opening sentence, you told them the steps, and then a closing. So let's look at another one. Here is how, when we were talking about how to make lemonade. Okay, we have our steps here. First, I cut the lemons, next, first cut the lemon, next, squeeze the lemon, then add sugar and water, last, drink the lemonade. So we can tell our audience, well, what is it that you're going to be talking about in this how to? Oh, you're telling them, I know how to make, what is it that you know how to make? I know how to make lemonade. So that's what our whole thing is about. I know how to make lemonade. Then you have the steps it takes. Okay, then at the end, after you give them the steps, well, let's go back to the opening. What is it that you told them how to make? Lemonade. So we can say, that is how I make lemonade, period. So if you notice my opening sentence, because I'm keeping this pretty simple, I start with, I know how to. Each time I go with, I know how to, and I tell them what it is that I know how to do or how to make. And then my closing sentence, I tell them, that is how and then that is how I either make something or how I do something. That is how I make lemonade. Okay, let's look at this one. Do you remember this with the kite? Okay, I told you how to fly a kite. So I'm going to add my opening sentence. Remember, my opening sentence goes first. So again, I can say, I know how to. Well, what is it that I know how to? I know how to fly a kite, period. That's what I'm telling my readers about. I'm telling them how to fly a kite. Okay, then I give them the directions of how to fly that kite. Now I need my closing sentence. Remember, my closing sentence goes at the end after I give them the last step, let more string out and watch my kite fly. My closing sentence. Remember, I can use the words, that is how I, well, what did I tell them about? That is how I do what? Fly a kite, period. So I gave them directions on how to fly a kite. I know how to fly a kite. I give them the directions. Then I say, that is how I fly a kite, because that's how I do it. Now, if I was writing, okay, starting from scratch, writing my how to, okay, I can start with my opening. I'm going to write about how to make coffee. So I can say, I know, where'd my typing go? I know how to make coffee, period. Okay, that's my opening sentence. Now I can go into my steps. First, comma, I turn on the coffee maker and put in a pod, period. Next, I put my mug under the spout and hit start, period. Then, comma, I add my cream and sugar, period. Last, I drink my coffee, period. Okay, so I wrote my how to. Now I need to add my closing. So now what was I telling the reader about? How to make coffee. So I can say, that is how I make coffee. Because remember, you're explaining your way of doing something. So that is how I make coffee. All right, boys and girls, you're going to try adding an opening and a closing. Remember, we can use the words, I know how to, in the beginning and in the opening, and tell them what it is that you know how to make. And then your closing, that is how I, and then tell them what it is that you showed them how to make. All right, boys and girls, don't forget those openings and closings. We want to start adding them to our writing.